Have you ever snapped at someone important to you and immediately regretted it? Or maybe you've completely misread a situation at work and made things super awkward? We've all been there, and it's not because you're a bad person. It's because you haven't learned the 4 game-changing emotional intelligence hacks that I'm going to share with you today. Hi, I'm Will Deek, professor and passionate martial arts practitioner, and today I want to introduce you to some of the best emotional intelligence hacks super successful people use to get along with others on a daily basis. The best part, you're not going to need to spend years in therapy getting feedback to see results. If you apply what I'm going to share with you today, these techniques will start working for you immediately. Let me ask, have you ever wondered why you ended up clashing with someone despite your best intentions? If you have, I know exactly how you feel. It all started a couple of decades ago when I was managing a big project with really tight deadlines. One Monday morning, one team member, let's call him Alex, missed submitting his portion of the project report. That put our entire presentation at risk. My immediate thought was, I can't believe Alex doesn't care enough about this project to turn in his work on time. And I must admit, I was frustrated, and honestly, I was pretty upset. And back then, I was very quick to show it. In my mind, this was simply laziness. The deadline has been on the calendar for weeks, and everyone on the team knew about it. So I marched over to Alex's desk, and barely containing my irritation, I asked rather pointedly, "Do you realize your missed deadline is affecting the entire team?" Alex gave me a blank look and started mumbling he was sorry, but I interrupted, and the conversation quickly spiraled. Alex became defensive. I became even more frustrated, and what should have been a simple check-in turned into an awkward standoff in front of the whole office. Not exactly my proudest leadership moment. Instead of solving the problem, I created a new one, a giant rift between me and Alex that lasted for weeks afterwards. Then a teammate confided to me that Alex had been dealing with a family emergency. His father had been hospitalized on Friday evening, and he'd spent the entire weekend at the hospital. Because of the crisis, he had completely overlooked the deadline. But because I jumped to conclusions and approached the situation with judgment rather than curiosity, Alex didn't feel safe sharing what was really going on with me. This uncomfortable situation made me realize I was making a critical mistake that many of us are guilty of. I was assuming I knew someone else's intentions without having or even asking for all the information. I was letting my emotions drive my behavior without pausing to consider what might be happening underneath the surface. So what was I missing? The short answer was emotional intelligence, or EQ, which is that ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions while also being able to tune into the emotions of others. This isn't just some trendy buzzword or soft skill that looks good on a resume. It's actually a factor that's crucial to our personal and professional success. In fact, research from Yale School of Management has shown something rather fascinating. Emotional intelligence is a stronger predictor of success than IQ in many situations. Think about that for a second. Your ability to navigate emotions, both yours and others, can and almost always will matter more than how book smart you are when it comes to achieving your goals. The research also points to something I wish I'd known during my conflict with Alex. Emotions are contagious, and they spread most powerfully from the leader outward. As the Yale research found, a leader's state is actually much more important on the ability of people to do good work than many people realize. Boy, is that right. My frustration and judgment created a ripple effect that impacted Alex's performance and our whole team's dynamic for weeks. Leaders who lack emotional intelligence might get short-term results by pushing people hard, but they create long-term disasters like burnout, turnover, and lost potential. On the flip side, emotionally intelligent leaders create environments where people feel safe, included, and understood, which drives better performance and innovation. Here's the thing. There was one simple technique that I've learned since that encounter that could have completely changed my interaction with Alex. It's called the perspective shift, and it's the first of 4 emotional intelligence hacks I'm going to share with you today. This technique is deceptively simple, but incredibly powerful. At its core, the perspective shift technique involves actively listening, paying attention to nonverbal cues, and asking thoughtful questions that will help you see situations through someone else's eyes. It transforms conflict into opportunities for collaboration and deeper understanding. The magic of this technique boils down to asking yourself one powerful question when you're feeling frustrated with someone. What might be happening inside them that I can't see? This question immediately shifts your mindset from judgment to empathy. It reminds you that everyone's behavior makes sense from their own perspective, even if you can't see it from yours. If I'd asked myself this question before confronting Alex, I might have approached the conversation with curiosity instead of accusation. I might have created space for him to share what was really going on. I might have been able to offer him support instead of criticism. I might have avoided weeks of hurt feelings and animosity. While that simple question could have changed everything with Alex, what happens when your emotions are too overwhelming to even think clearly? The truth is that the perspective shift technique works best when it's part of a complete system. That's what I'm sharing with you today. 4 interconnected emotional intelligence hacks that you can start using right away. Working together, they can build on each other to help create real transformation in how you handle challenging interactions. The problem is most people make the mistake of trying random emotional management hacks that pop into their feed or they find online. One day they'll try deep breathing. The next, counting to 10. Another day it's journaling. But since these disconnected techniques don't work together, they still struggle despite their best intentions. It's like having separate puzzle pieces that don't fit together that you're trying to make to create a full picture. To truly manage emotions effectively, it's essential to find a cohesive approach that integrates these strategies into united practice. So that's what I want to share with you, this 4-step emotional intelligence system. When used together, these techniques create powerful framework for handling any difficult situation life throws your way. Let's start with the foundation, the self-awareness pause. This simple mindfulness technique helps you recognize your emotions before they gallop off in a direction you don't want them to go. It has 3 simple steps: breathe, name, and notice your physical sensations. First, take a moment to focus on your breath. This immediately calms your nervous system and reconnects your rational brain. Once you've created that pause, the next step is emotional labeling. This technique is precisely naming your feelings to reduce their intensity and gain control over them. Instead of thinking, I'm sad, which can feel overwhelming, try saying, I feel sad about this specific situation. This simple shift creates distance between you and the emotion, allowing you to see it more objectively. The research shows that by identifying and labeling emotions, you acknowledge and accept them. Now, this is a much better strategy than avoiding or suppressing them, which just amplifies what you're feeling. It's the difference between saying, this meeting is terrible, versus, I'm feeling disappointed that we haven't made more progress on this project. The third technique is perfect for those moments when emotions become really intense. It's called the stress diffusion method. My favorite approach for this is using the 5-4-3-2-1 sensory grounding exercise. And here's how it works. Identify 5 things you can see right now, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This technique quickly brings your nervous system back into balance by engaging your senses and shifting your attention away from overwhelming thoughts. I use this before difficult conversations, during stressful commutes, or anytime I need to center my emotions quickly. These 3 techniques prepare you for the most powerful one. The complete perspective shift method we touched on earlier. Beyond just asking the key question, the full technique involves 4 important steps. Actively listening to understand rather than simply responding, observing nonverbal cues like facial expressions and body language, asking thoughtful questions like, what led you to make that decision, or what was your thought process, and finally, imagining their experience by putting yourself in their shoes to help you connect with them on a deeper level. When you combine all 4 of these emotional intelligence hacks, something amazing happens. They form a system that's far more powerful than any single individual technique. Companies that have implemented these EI approaches have seen remarkable results. For instance, Sanofi, it's a French pharmaceutical company, boosted annual performance by 12% after focusing on emotional intelligence skills with their sales team. At one Motorola manufacturing plant, productivity increased for over 90% of employees who received EI training. But the benefits go far beyond the workplace metrics. These techniques help you manage stress more effectively, communicate your needs clearly, empathize with others authentically, overcome challenges more resiliently, and diffuse conflict before it escalates to a place like it did with me and Alex. With consistent practice, perspective taking becomes second nature, leading to stronger relationships in every area of your life. So here's the exciting part about everything we've covered today. Emotional intelligence isn't a fixed trait that you're born with. Research shows that these skills can be learned and improved at any point in your life. With just 21 to 28 days of consistent practice, you can literally rewire your brain to create these new emotional habits. The best part? You don't have to wait for weeks to feel the benefits. Each time you use the self-awareness pause or you try emotional labeling, you're building your EI muscles. Start with just one technique today. Notice the difference in your very next conversation. Then gradually add the others. Remember, this isn't about becoming someone else. It's about becoming your best self, and the best time to start is today. So, what are you waiting for? Oh, one last thing. Just hit subscribe for more brain-boosting hacks that take minutes but change everything. It's an easy and free way to support us, and you'll boost your brain power along the way. Until the next time, this is Will Deek wishing you only success.